not respond to me, by
Hold
the way.
on, we live. We going live.
Oh, we're going live. All right, let's go. Oh, my tea real quick. Hold on. I'm going to get my tea.
Peace and Black Power family. Welcome to another Sonetta TV House of Consciousness production. We got a real good one for you tonight. This is going to be powerful. I already see I got 7, 8 thumbs down. It's crazy. Our people is ridiculous with this. 8 thumbs down. They hate this talk. You know, that Willie Lynch is starting to curve into him. Hey, sister, we got 8 thumbs down already. We ain't even started the show.
I'm used to it. That's what it is.
Yeah.
You know?
But you know what it is, though? We getting ready to get it in. And
That's
before
right.
we do that, I got a powerful sister that's going to be right here. She going to go in. I mean, it's going to be powerful. But before we do that, let's go to Sonetta's famous openings. Let's get it in.
Out to Star City, Virginia, ATL, Georgia, Frederick, Maryland, and New York,
And Princess Lanita.
and Sonetta TV.
TV.
Sonetta.
Shout out to Sonetta TV.
Shout out to Sonetta TV.
Sonetta TV.
Peace to the fam, 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 peace to the fam. No more, gotta show what we stand for. Shot down in the streets by another police. They wanna start a race war. My people gotta stay strong. Come together and we face storms. We can hold our dollar. We collapse their dollar. Incite our power. Take back our land. Hold back our dollars. Black power we stand. All of you depend on our next move. 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 Peace to the fam. 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 Peace to the fam.
Shout out to
Peace to the fam. Peace to the fam. You know what it is. We're going to have a real interesting show tonight. I have a powerful, beautiful sister on the panel today, and this is a real heavy topic, as y'all can see what's going on. Does the dark-skinned activists hate the light-skinned people? I mean, we're going to see what it is. Without any further ado, I want to bring on Sister Rashida. Sister Rashida, how you doing, sister? Introduce yourself to the people.
I'm doing fantastic. Fantastic. I want to say, first of all, thank you very much for having me on. I do appreciate the opportunity to actually present my position on such a powerful platform. So first and foremost, thank you very much for having me on. My name is Rashida Strober. For those of you that do not know me, my name is Rashida Strober. I am the world's first dark-skinned activist and the inventor of dark-skinned activism. Started it back in 1998 at St. Petersburg College with a lecture that I gave on the Sudanese Model Alek Wek. And I have been involved, actively engaged in the work of dark-skinned activism since then, and just seen it grow up until this point. So that's a brief history just to get us started.
Okay, my sister. Before we go deep into it, I would like to know, why do you choose the word dark skin and not black? What's the difference? Is there a difference between dark skin and black skin?
Well, the thing is dark skin, in my humble opinion, and based on the fact that there are over 1 billion people in Africa and the majority of those people are dark skinned, that is a fact. So dark skin is the representation of Black Africa. And that is the reason why I choose the word. That's one reason among many. Another reason why I chose dark skin is because the dark skinned people of the world suffer the most discrimination of any group of people probably on the history of the planet. And all we need to do is take a look at the turmoil that has gone on over in Africa. First of all, where you see the people that have the darkest hue. You can look at India, you can look at, any place in the world, you see that the dark skinned people are always on the bottom economically, politically, and socially. And so, I wanted to address that in terms of my own personal experience.
Keep talking. I got to get this door. Just keep talking.
No problem. I wanted to address that in terms of being a dark-skinned woman myself, undergoing something what I call dark-skinned mental abuse that generally it starts in a person's family and then it expands to the larger society. And so I needed to figure out a way to operationalize a term, if you will, to describe myself and what it is, the work that I'm involved in. I'm dark skinned. I'm an activist, and the activist work that I do, it involves the promotion and the anti-discrimination and the equality of dark skinned people. So that's the reason why I chose to name myself the dark skinned activist.
Okay, now I'm hoping you don't have a problem with black. Is there any problem with calling ourselves black?
Not at all. I don't feel that there's a problem with calling ourselves black people. I don't have an issue with that at all. But what I do have a problem with, and I've always had a problem with, is the discrimination, the intra-discrimination of dark-skinned people within blackness. That's the issue for me. And so that is why, and let me just say this. When I started speaking about this whole dark skin thing, dark skin this, dark skin that, as one of my family members would say, she would basically kick me out of her house when I come talking that dark skin stuff. The thing is there's darkism or intra-colorism or intra-racism going on between black people. And this has been going on for the longest. I mean, dark skin activism is just exposing it. That's all it is. So no, I don't have a problem with blackness at all.
Okay, that's what's up, sister. That's what it is. Can you please tell us some of the things that causes you to be aware of your dark skin?
Oh my God. I wrote the book on it. I wrote a book called Darkism, 25 Ways Dark-Skinned People Are Discriminated. Now, in this book, I speak about things that dark-skinned people go through, but because they've been bullied and told that you're jealous, you're hating on non-dark-skinned black people or non-dark-skinned black women, you need to be quiet. That's all in your head. Because these people have been bullied into being quiet, they won't say these things. So, for example, I talk about customer service, for example. I cannot count the number of times, if I had a penny for every time this happened, I'd be very, very, very wealthy. The number of times that I've gone into a store, and by the way, darkism can be inflicted by dark-skinned people, brown-skinned people, white people. It doesn't matter. Anybody can inflict darkism on a dark-skinned person. But I've gone into the store so many times and received bad customer service. And I described specific instances in this book. For example, I was in a Chinese restaurant one time, and we know that darkism is prevalent. It's a global thing, so it's prevalent in Asian countries as well. But I went into an Asian restaurant one time, and I was the second person in line. And this non-black man walked up, and they completely ignored me. That's an example of darkism. I was in an Indian establishment, a pack and ship. I was the first person in line after a woman and her husband was in front of me. A non-dark-skinned black woman walked in. After I had been standing there for about 10 minutes, they immediately took her. Immediately. These were dark-skinned Indians. Discriminate. And I know I may look kind of light to y'all because of the lighting, but I'm from Florida. Trust me, I'm dark-skinned. It's getting hot down here and I get darker. So I have been dealing with these issues for the longest in society and also in my family, where I have seen what I call systemic economic darkism. And that means where dark-skinned people are not treated equally based on economics. It impacts their economics. So for example, in my own family, I've seen non-dark-skinned people in my family get privilege. They've gotten gifts, they've gotten money, they've gotten to be able to drive the nice cars. I've seen this in my family. So this is something, like I said, it's been going on for the longest. It's the big elephant in the room that no one wants to discuss. And people try to bully you and say that you hate light-skinned people, or they try to say that you hate other people. And they're doing this in an effort, not because they know that what you're saying is not true. They're doing it in an effort because they don't want to deal with their dark-skin guilt. I call it dark-skin guilt. They don't want to deal with it. But that's why I'm here. That's why I'm making the case. And I'm going to provide other evidence as well later on, but I'm making the case that there is a need for a dark-skinned activist, because this is my experience, and trust and believe there are millions of people around the world who have gone through similar experiences.
All right, family, stand by, because the sister's going to go in with a PowerPoint presentation. But before we get there, I want to go through a couple of questions so y'all could get the full understanding of why she called herself the dark activist. What is a dark activism? What is dark activism?
Dark skin activism, basically.
Yes, dark skin. I meant to say dark skin activism.
Oh, no problem at all. Dark skin activism is simply about equality. It's a human rights movement. It's about the social, the political, and the economic equality of dark skinned people. Again, and I have to say, I want to say shout out to the late great Dr. Frances Cress Welsing. I'm writing a book called Inventing Dark Skin Activism right now, and I speak about her impact on my work, because I actually got the book sitting right here. It's one of my holy grail books right here. I bought this book back in 2000, something like that. Shout out to Kanoon, because he put me on to her. If you're watching this, Kanoon Mark from St. Petersburg, thank you. She talks about the system of racism and white supremacy, and how that impacts, going back to Neely Fuller's, his people activity, areas of people activity. And I think about those things in the development of dark skin activism. So dark skin activism goes into, how can we solve the problem of inequality when we look at things, and I'm going to talk about this tonight, when we look at things like the economic disparity. There are studies, and I'm going to go into it, that prove that dark-skinned people make less money. There are studies that prove that dark-skinned women are the last to be picked marriage-wise and dating-wise, or they may not be in relationships at the same rate as light-skinned women. These are scholarly, peer-reviewed studies that are coming from people like Dr. Margaret Hunter, and there's many others that I'll be talking to you guys about. But the bottom line is there is the case for a dark-skinned activist is proven by the mistreatment of dark-skinned people on a global scale. Darkism makes its impact on a global scale. And that's why we have to have a dark-skinned activist to clear up issues of inequality, again, socially, economically, and politically. And the main thing, as far as I'm concerned, it's all about economics, because once again, studies have proven that your skin tone has a direct impact on what some scholars term life chances. And like I said, economically, it could be extremely detrimental to a person who is dark skinned to be shut out of economic opportunities. I remember a young lady contacted me on a post. It was actually on a post on Facebook, where she's in the modeling industry. And she said, and I knew that this was something that was going on, like this was not news to me, of course, as the dark skinned activist. She said that she has not been chosen for modeling jobs because they shut out dark skinned women. They didn't want dark skinned women. It reminds me, I got to call out his name, Kanye West. Recently, sometime last year, he had a casting call that excluded dark skinned women. That is what I mean when I refer to systemic economic darkism. That is what I mean when I refer to, is there the case? Can we make a case for the need for dark skin activism to solve problems of economic, social, and political inequality.
Okay, that's beautiful, sister. Before I go on, let me first say how beautiful you look in your skin right now. Dark, lovely. I love it. Beautiful. I got to say that. Okay, now, what I would like to say, ask you this is, what are some of the historical origins of dark skin discrimination, aka darkism?
Thank you. I'm glad you asked that question. And the simple answer, manifest destiny, which spearheaded imperialism, colonialism, capitalist expansion. It's all economic as far as I'm concerned. And so what that means is that European powers in their imperialist manifest destiny endeavors, they decided to go out into the rest of the world and take over and decided to subjugate the darker people of the world. And then, you know, you get the Africans coming over to the Americas, and you have the Indians that are already there, the dark people being subjugated and made to work for free. And the people, the light people, in this case, of course, they were non-Black people, were able to benefit economically. So the European imperialist expansion, which resulted in colonialism and, you know, slavery, and like I said, capitalism, the Industrial Revolution, and all these things. So that's the root of it. That's the root cause of it. Absolutely.
Powerful, powerful, sister. Our people in this country have been fighting racism since the slave trade based on their blackness, which include not only their color of their skin, but their phenotypes such as lips, behind, muscle, and speeches. Mm-hmm. Why only skin that you are attacking?
That's another great question. You giving me some good questions here. I love that. The reason you got to understand that every movement starts with the person. So, for example, the Mothers Against Drunk Driving, that's a good example. It started with a mother who suffered because their child was killed from a drunk driver. So they decided to start a movement. I think it's Megan's Law. I think that's the name of it. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. The child that was missing and all the legislation happened as a result. Same thing with me. In my family, I know I seem very outspoken right now, but I suffered years in silence as a dark-skinned woman, seeing these things going on growing up. At the time, not being able to articulate it, but knowing, hey, this is what is happening to me. This is not right. And as I started to get older and be able to, you know, conceptualize what's going on, that there's a relationship between skin tone, because this person who's not dark as me with the, you know, the nappy hair, if you will, this person has been told they're beautiful because their skin is lighter and they have quote unquote good hair. They quote unquote have Indian in their family, and that's no shade to Indians, but I do find that even in my own family, a lot of Black people will say, I got Indian in my family, and they're not saying it because, you know, they're respecting the Indians, which I do. A lot of them are saying this because if they have anything in them to indicate less Blackness, it somehow makes them feel better, and they're gonna deny it. I just had a conversation with a family member the other day. She showed me a picture. She always shows me this picture of my Indian great grandmother, and she goes on and on. This is how we got our hair, because some of them got so-called good hair. This is how some of them got this little skin, this, you know, smooth texture of skin that's not so dark. So, you know, that's why it's all, the conversation is always around skin tone. You know what I'm saying? It's always around, you know, go sit your Black A down, or your nappy headed behind. You know, it always has to do with skin tone and hair. And it all, another thing that I've heard so much too as well, they gonna hate you because you light skin, your hair long too. Oh, they gonna be so jealous of you. Why would you say that in front of a darker skinned child? You know, some of these adults are directly responsible for the darkism that they pass on to the next generation. Because if you're saying that in front of a dark-skinned child, we're not stupid. We're going to remember those things. We're going to internalize those things. And later on, these issues are going to reappear. But sometimes in our families, we plant the seed of darkism by treating one person differently simply because they have a lighter tone of skin and a smoother, softer, so-called good grade of hair. So that's where, you know, the skin tone and then being a woman, being a female, I would argue that it's more difficult for a female who is dark skinned than for a male, although I empathize and sympathize with my dark skinned brothers as well. But the thing about women, Dr. Margaret L. Hunter, she talks about beauty is social capital. And in this country, white women are seen as the most beautiful, and the closer you look to them, you know, the more social capital you have. And, you know, even in societies with caste systems, the darker people were on the bottom. And as you go up the skin tone grade, they become more economically empowered. So, you know, the notion of skin tone is super powerful. It's super powerful in determining a person's life chances. Who you're going to marry, what school you're going to go to. Think Howard University. I'm sorry, but Howard University, y'all were perpetuators of the paper brown bag test. I mean, the facts. This is history. This is not me. So, I mean, we could go on and on here, but I hope I answered your question.
Right. Beautiful. In this black activist speak of black skin, of dark skin, how does the Europeans accept your teachings? Because I know they be hearing it. You be all over. So when you're talking this dark skin activism stuff, how does Europeans accept that?
I actually have found that Europeans actually are willing to learn and listen and understand. I also have found that a lot of them, there's this notion of not having to think about your privilege or your whiteness. And a lot of times, because white people don't have to think about being white, they don't think about these things. So to them, it's something new. It's something that they want to understand. So I've actually been in the 5th largest newspaper in the United States. It used to be called the St. Petersburg Times. It's now called the Tampa Bay Times. They did a feature story on me on the cover of the Floridian. I've been in that paper probably about 2 or 3 times. I've actually been on Bay News 9, which interviewed in front of millions of people. The headline was "Local Playwright Explores Dark Skin Discrimination," interviewed by a white reporter who followed the story and created the story. I just came back from the first stop on the Dark Skin Activist Tour, which was in Tucson, Arizona, about 2 weeks ago. And you know who was the co-producer of that show? A white woman. Shout out to Kim. I got to shout you out because she contacted me, been following my work for years online, and said, "Hey, why don't you come out here to Tucson, Arizona?" And people thought I was nuts for going there because they said, "Oh, there's no black people there. Why would you be going there?" But to me, this is universal because it's about human rights. So I'm not surprised when white people or people of European descent, when they want to listen and hear what I have to say. So, you know, I go out to Tucson, Arizona. She co-produces the show, and, you know, we make it happen. So I find that white people are receptive just from the vantage point of this is something that they don't have to think about. This is something that some of them are not aware of. And when they see someone that is speaking on it, she's read my books, A Dark Skin Woman's Revenge, you know, Darkism. It's like, what is this? I want to learn what this is. So that's pretty much the answer right there. So
okay. All right. If you see We the Gods in the chat room, family, I want y'all to get ahead and subscribe to that brother. Make sure you get it because he be throwing up a lot of new and powerful information. We the Gods. Also, another brother, In the Black. What's the name of his channel? You got to go find In the Black new channel. All right, family. Make sure y'all go and subscribe to that. So, sister, real quick.
yes.
As a child, how was you treated growing up in school, going to little active, sports or whatever, going to clubs? How were you treated amongst your friends, amongst your people? Were they always teasing you because of the color of your complexion?
Absolutely. And I call it dark skin mental abuse in an article that I wrote back in 2014. The article is called Dark Skin Mental Abuse. And I detailed the abuse that I suffered at the hands of family. I'm not going to say y'all name. I ain't going to, but I remember a family member of mine told me I got to get pretty because I was not pretty enough. I have a non-dark skin female family member who was clearly shown a lot of favoritism. Now, if I confronted them about this, they're going to say, "Rashida, that's not true. That's all in your head." But she was given favoritism because she was not dark skinned. She had the more Indian look with the not straight hair, but the curly hair. Y'all know what I mean. The so-called good hair. She was given money, time, privileges. You know, one family member gets a new car, she's able to drive it. I'm not. It's so many things that I could point to. I didn't have the support. I was homeless at one time. I had to struggle and hustle. That's my heart goes out to. I gotta keep it real. Homeless, dark-skinned people. Anytime I see a homeless, dark-skinned person and they ask me for money, I'm giving it to them. I don't care what anybody say. Oh, these homeless people, they just spend their money. Nope, I'm giving it to them because I've been there and I know how it feels. And people are not as empathetic to you. They're not as empathetic to you when you are. I've seen this with my own eyes because it's happened to me. So, you know, and I had people in my family, they would talk about me. They would say, oh, they call me a whore. I'm this, I'm that. I'm out here just trying to survive. No one helped me. No one tried to reach out and help because that's how it is when you dark skinned. You got to learn how to say, okay, this is what it is. And I got to fend for myself. I'm not saying this is the experience of all dark skinned people, but it was definitely mine when I look back and compare what I went through versus the non-dark person in my family. The like I said, the privileges. When I say privilege, let me be specific, real specific. Money, you know, money, attention. That's what young people need. They need money, attention, time, and not to be ignored. I was not told, "Oh my God, you're beautiful." I was not told, "Oh my God, your hair is beautiful." You know, while I sat back and watched compliment after compliment, like I said, privilege after privilege of non-dark persons in my family. And then really the first time I started to experience darkism in school was in the 5th grade. I'll never forget, there was a young man, there was a mixed race young lady who I like her to this day. I communicated with her a couple of years ago, I think about 2 years ago. She's a beautiful young lady. Her mom is black, her dad is white. There was a black young man in the class, and his mom was a teacher, so he already got the favoritism, and you know, because his mom worked at school, and he would make it known that the dark-skinned girls or were not the ones that were desirable. He would make it known that this mixed race girl was the girl that he wanted. He pretty much threw it in our face. This was the 5th grade, okay? And then when I went on to middle school, it really, you know, the darkism started to gain steam. I would not go into the lunchroom a lot of times because that's where all the attacks would happen. I want to say about 2 years ago, I saw this attacker, this dark-skinned attacker, that's what I call him. I saw him at a corner store when I was going into the store, and I confronted him. I mean, I didn't yell and scream, but I said, "You remember me? You used to call me black and ugly." He looked at me, he was all nice, and he was like acting like he didn't remember that, but he did. He would have everybody laughing at me in the lunchroom, calling me all kinds of names: Spot, Monkey Mouth, Blackie, Midnight, Tar Baby, Crispy, I Can't See You, African Booty Scratcher, because the dark-skinned skinny girls get it too. If you dark, let me tell you something. If you dark-skinned and real bony, they gonna get you. And if you dark-skinned and real fat, they gonna get you. Okay. So
now today, 2017, how comfortable are you in your skin? How comfortable are you today?
I fight with myself still. I like my dark skin, but I'm fighting with myself because really I'm not fighting with the fact of whether or not I am a beautiful dark-skinned woman. I'm fighting with the fact of how other people view me. And on that note, I want to mention there's a scholar that talks about, I believe it was in Taylor Matthews' study of Clark Atlanta. There's a scholar that he quoted that talked about the self and how when we present ourselves to the world, especially oppressed people, we're always trying to figure out how does this person see us, and we know that there's negative stereotypes associated with, you know, dark skin in this case. So we're always concerned about how is this person seeing me, and trying to present yourself in a way that the person views you as good. So it's this concept of the self, and how is that reflected onto other people, and how do they see you? So that's the issue that I still grapple with to this day. Is when, so for example, there's this guy out in Brooklyn. Yeah, he made a video talking about me and saying all this stuff. And he said, well, Rashida said when black men try to talk to her, she doesn't talk to them. Let me tell you why. I don't think that was not my exact quote. But here's the thing. In the back of my mind, I'm wondering, does this man really think I'm cute? Does he really find me attractive? I'm literally wondering that. And I'm honest enough to admit it. I don't care who knows. That's just what it is. That's what I am thinking. Now, it takes me a little minute to realize, okay, based on the person's actions, if they really like me or not. But that's always circulating in the back of my head. So I have to work to get over that form of dark skin mental abuse. That's where I call it post-traumatic dark skin syndrome. That's what I call it. People they say I'm nuts for making up all these psychological terms, but I have to operationalize it. Thank you,
Right.
Dr. Fuller. He talked about operationalizing and creating, new definitions of words to describe what it is that we're going to. Shout out to that great scholar. I love Dr. Neely Fuller. Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's powerful. Sister, I have another question here. And this one right here, I'm just hoping that you pass this test right here. And I'm getting ready to ask you this question.
Okay.
What is your thought on interracial relationships? Black woman, white man, black woman. What is your thoughts on that? Do you think black people need to stay with black people?
Yes.
Or you don't have no problem with that? Talk to me about that.
I'm for building the black community. And how can we build the black community if we don't have the black man and the black woman? And at the heart, let me be real clear about this. That's why I'm against this whole flag a black man channel campaign. And I've said it a million times, and I'm gonna keep saying it unless somebody's talking about violence. But here's the thing. At the heart of the Dark Skin is Beautiful campaign, at the heart of the dark skin activism is to bring the black man back to the black woman in general, and the black man back to the dark-skinned black woman in balanced numbers. Now, I'm not saying that all black men are going to go out and get them a dark-skinned woman. That's irrational. I know that's not going to happen, but we need balance. So black men and black women, we need each other. We are not going to be able to continue to nation build without each other. It's not going to happen. So I hope that answers your question. I was married to a super duper dark skinned black man for about 8-9 years. We're going through our little divorce right now. He's super black. And if, I get married again, it will be to a black man. Absolutely.
Okay, beautiful. Because I was about to ask you the question. The brothers is already going crazy in the chat. They said, "Sir, ask the queen, is she single?" So you already see, she asked you, she going through a divorce right now. So yes, the sister is single. I don't know when she's ready to get back into a relationship, but she's single right now. She's going through a divorce. Okay, my sister, what I would like to do is give you some time to go through a PowerPoint presentation to share with our viewers that's out there.
Absolutely. All right. So without no further ado, let me get started. Share my screen. Give me a second to put it on there, the slideshow. So the case for the dark-skinned activist Rashida Strober. So I just want to issue this disclaimer first. Looks like I spelled the word disclaimer wrong, but that's okay. See, I have no issue if you reference the information that I present, but as an academic, I want to adhere to strong standards of intellectual and academic honesty. So if you use anything in here, just please cite. Thank you. Just wanted to get that out of there. So a lot of people say, what the hell is a dark-skinned activist? That's the question that's been asked over and over again. And who am I? So real quickly, I'm a graduate of the University of South Florida with a master's in political science, a bachelor's in history, the author of 5 books and 2 plays specifically on dark skin, a playwright, the first dark-skinned activist and the inventor of dark-skinned activism, circa 1998. I'm also a lecturer, a motivational speaker, former American government professor, actor, producer, and I also studied and worked under Samuel X, my late father, and the founder of the Uhuru movement. Some of y'all might know who he is, Omali Yeshitela. So shout out to Omali Yeshitela if you ever watched this. I absolutely love him. So I wanted to start this PowerPoint out with Wallace Thurman's, and I recommend that everybody go get this book. Wallace Thurman's 1929 book. It's called The Blacker the Berry. And real quick, a lot of people need to understand that we hear the Blacker the Berry and, you know, in popular culture with rap songs. It started with Wallace Thurman's 1929 book, The Blacker the Berry. So two quotes stuck out in that book to me like nobody's business. The first quote, the tragedy of her life was that she was too black. And this is referring to the protagonist in the book. Her name is Emma Lou. The book is about her life as she endures dark skin discrimination in every walk of life, in school, in her family. Wallace Thurman was ahead of his time. Like he's the original. He's the original. So another quote that stuck out, she should have been a boy, then color of skin wouldn't have mattered so much. For wasn't her mother always saying that a black boy could get along, but a black girl would never know anything but sorrow and disappointment? And that speaks directly to, you know, the modern day social capital that I talked about earlier that Dr. Margaret L. Hunter discusses, because Wallace Thurman understood clearly that skin tone is associated to social capital and beauty for a woman. It's clear in this book all the way back to 1929. So I want to kind of conceptualize the case for a dark-skinned activist with those two quotes. Darkism origins, and this is something that we kind of talked about earlier, and I kind of, you know, touched on it a bit here. European imperialism and global expansion is manifest destiny. That's what it is. And that includes slavery, colonialism, and capitalist expansion. These things are the root cause of darkism. Make no mistake about it. I'm very, very clear on that. So Darkism, this is the book I wrote, 25 Ways Dark-Skinned People Are Discriminated Against. And in the book, I talked about the emotional impact of darkism. And this is if anybody wants this link, I'll gladly send it to you. But this is the link where I would encourage people to go read Dark-Skinned Mental Abuse, because it is a detailed indictment of family. In this case, my family, in terms of how they inflict dark-skinned mental abuse, which creates emotional problems, which people have called me crazy, bipolar. They've called me all kinds of names over the years, but they must go read this article and you'll understand that dark-skinned mental abuse and darkism can lead to emotional issues. I mean, it's simply common sense. If someone is disparaging you and treating you differently because of your skin tone, you're going to be impacted by that emotionally. Now let's move on to the educational impact of darkism, because I'm an educator and I have worked in the school system K through 12 and also at the college level. So higher education, I just want to give you guys just a few stats here of many, and I encourage you to do your own research. And the LSF stands for light-skinned females. The DSF stands for dark-skinned females. So in higher education, we find disparities in terms of the educational attainment of light-skinned versus dark-skinned with both male and female. So for example, light-skinned females have 1.73% more education than dark-skinned females. And this comes from the work of Joni Hirsch, a scholar that has done extensive research on this. So light-skinned females, 12.17%, dark-skinned females, 10.44%. Now let's move on to the males. LSM stands for light-skinned males. DSM stands for dark-skinned males. So light-skinned males have 1.27% more education than dark-skinned males. And the study found that light-skinned males, 12.41% versus 11.14%. So that's education. Let's move on to the economic impact of darkism. Now, everyone knows that education is directly tied to economic attainment in this country. The more we're taught this from the time we're young, the more education you get, the more likely it is for you to, do well economically, because the theory goes that you'll get a higher job, higher status job, a higher paying job, you'll be able to move up the ranks. So going back to Joni Hirsch, she did this empirical research here and it's taken from the National Survey of Black Americans and the Multi-City Study of Urban Inequality. So wages, light-skinned female wages, she found that it was 0.73%, 73% higher than dark-skinned female wages. Light-skinned males, 2.68% higher than dark-skinned males. There was also a case that went to the Supreme Court, I believe, in Georgia. I think it was at Applebee's, where a dark-skinned man actually sued his light-skinned supervisor for basically darkism. I mean, it didn't say darkism in the court documents, but for skin tone discrimination. That's another way that it's referred to. And I believe the settlement was $40,000. So that shows that even the courts are starting to see the impact of this discrimination that's going on between groups that are of the same race and ethnicity. So moving right along, the impact of darkism continued. Employment. So light-skinned females employed at 20.81% higher rate than dark-skinned females. Light-skinned males employed at 1.28% higher rate than dark-skinned males. So all of this, in my humble opinion, equates to what I call systemic economic darkism. And it's found in my book. I have what I call a dark skin glossary of terms and phrases. So in the book, you'll find this definition, but I decided to put it right here. Systemic economic darkism is a deeply rooted system where mechanisms are put in place to impede dark-skinned people from economic progress through policies and practices of socioeconomic marginalization, including but not limited to social exclusion, economic exclusion, educational exclusion, and this is very important, the criminalization of dark-skinned people. Because when you are criminalized, we know what happens. You get a record, you're gonna have a very hard time finding a job. And we're gonna get to crime and punishment. So real quickly, I did my master's thesis at the University of South Florida on Sierra Leone and the impact of what's called structural adjustment policies. But Sierra Leone is a case study in what I call systemic global economic darkism. It is a case study. Why? Let's look at the political impact of systemic economic darkism. The 10-year Sierra Leone war from 1991 to 2002 shows us you have a situation where darkism, systemic economic darkism, has led the people to discontent to where they're infighting with each other. They're having a civil war with each other. Sierra Leone is one of the wealthiest countries on earth, natural raw material resource-wise, and the war was about control over resources. And it all started with the foreign powers. It started back with the British. We'll talk a little bit about that. But basically, you have the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank who are basically saying, hey, you got to do this. They're controlling the money. You got to do this. You got to do that. And you got a corrupt government that's managing these funds and not making sure that it trickles down to the people. And it creates a recipe for war, civil war. So you had constant economic, social, and political instability, hundreds of thousands of people dead, children involved, the child soldiers of Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone's the major players in the war, the civil war. You had the Revolutionary United Front versus Joseph Mo and the National Patriotic Front. Then you had the European players who are at the root cause of this. You go back to the Portuguese in the 15th century. Then the final European powers in Sierra Leone, the British in the 19th century. And then finally, Sierra Leone gets independence in 1961, but then you have the International Monetary Fund and all these other economic institutions that's still coming in and controlling the economy, which led up to the Civil War. That's systemic economic darkism. And of course, these people are the dark people of the world. As I stated earlier, if you look at history, if you look at political struggles, you will see, if you look around the world, it is the darker people of the world that are suffering the most. Sierra Leone is a case in point. Again, well, this is something that I want to point out, that systemic economic darkism is all a part of this theory. It's called dependency theory. And this is a economic theory that's rooted in Marxism, and the scholar Paul Prebisch and Hans Singer back in the 1950s, they were like the main proponents of this theory. And the main tenets of this theory is very important. Economic growth in the industrialized nations, it leads to poverty in underdeveloped nations, making the underdeveloped nations dependent on the industrialized nations. And that's exactly what the IMF and the World Bank did. This is a direct result of systemic economic darkism, because now you have a situation where the developed countries are coming in. I believe De Beers was a big multinational company in Sierra Leone. They're coming over there, extracting all these diamonds, taking them, selling them and making millions of dollars on the world market. But you have Sierra Leone, where the raw materials came from, yet the country is still dependent and poor. Moving right along. So I just wanted to kind of put the case of Sierra Leone in your head to make people understand an example of the global impact of darkism, as specifically the economic global impact of darkism, and why there's the case. Another reason why we need a dark-skinned activist. The impact of darkism on crime and punishment is real. Anybody that denies this is completely insane. Blacks make up approximately 13% of the United States population, but they're about 40% of the prison population. That is a huge, and the number might actually be a little bit higher than that. There's a book that everyone should read called Worse Than Slavery. Worse Than Slavery. And Worse Than Slavery talks about Parchman Farm, and it details the origins of the prison system as it relates to Black people. And it happened to have developed right after slavery, because unfortunately the former oppressors had to find something to do with the newly freed slaves. And this is how the prison system was developed, because before Black people were released from slavery, it was not, and this book will inform you on that, it was not Black people that were filling up the jails. It was non-Black people. So please, when you get a chance, read this book, Worse Than Slavery, and it'll put this whole situation of darkism and the impact on crime and punishment into context. Now, there's also a Villanova University study that showed that non-dark-skinned women spend 12% less prison time than dark-skinned women. Clearly, darkism has an impact on crime and punishment. Not only that, this study, these statistics here come from scholars at Cornell, Stanford, UCLA, Yale. They all came together and they did a study on the death penalty outcomes for Black males. Now look at this, the white victims, if they killed a white victim, 24% of light-skinned Black males got the death penalty versus 57% of dark-skinned males who got the death penalty. Now, if it was a Black victim, as you can see, the numbers are running next to that. The impact of darkism on school-age children. A New York Times study, recent study, it proved that dark-skinned girls get harsher punishments than non-dark-skinned girls. So you have a situation with 12%, as you can see, for Black girls and 1% for non-Black girls. That's a huge disparity. 12% Black girls, 1% non-Black girls. Georgia, the ratio of Black girls getting suspended compared to non-Black girls is 5-1. People, this is, here's another case. This is a dark-skinned young lady, Makia, that was a part of this study, the New York Times study, and a white girl. They both committed the same crime of vandalism. Now, if you look to the left, look to the right. Let's look at the non-Black girl's punishment. The crime was vandalism. The punishment was a $100 fine and suspension. That's it. She walked. Makia's punishment. The crime was vandalism. The punishment was a $100 fine, suspension, charged with a misdemeanor, a potential felony charges, a summer of probation, 16 hours of community service. Clearly, we see how darkism impacts school children. The impact of darkism on school-age children continued. There's an article called The Relationship, this is actually a study, by, as you can see, Lance Hannon, Robert Defina, and Sarah Bruck, the relationship between skin tone and school suspension for African Americans. And I also want to say, shout out to the great scholar Jawanza Kunjufu. I cannot go on without mentioning him, because this man laid the groundwork. He actually did something about the situation for Black boys in our school and tried to make it better. And I appreciate his work. You know, we see people talking about it now, but I'm telling you right now, if you go check Dr. Jawanza Kunjufu, he laid the groundwork, and I have an immense amount of respect for him. But this study right here proved that dark-skinned boys and girls are more likely to be suspended than their non-dark-skinned counterparts. And I can back that up because I've seen it as a educator in the public schools K through 12. So it's absolutely true. All this leads, once again, we go back to this concept of systemic economic darkism. Because what will happen is, if you have a criminal record, or if you can't go to school, you're getting suspended and you can't learn. I told you, I was homeless. I was suspended from school. I got into fights. I was not treated fairly. And I do believe now, with all the research that I have, it has something to do with my dark skin. But I had to claw through that, you know, get my GED, get my master's degree, where I had to fight to even get that at the University of South Florida. Darkism reared its ugly head there. So, you know, dark-skinned people, we got to work hard. So if you have all these odds stacked against you, that can lead, because some people aren't strong enough to claw through that. It can lead to systemic economic darkism. The impact, this is very important. The impact, because it goes back to your question that you asked earlier, Sonetta, about how do I feel about dating outside the race. The impact of darkism on Black male-female relationships. High status Black men more likely to choose non-dark women for marriage and dating. Again, this has been proven by the colorism, darkism, if you will, scholarly research. You have scholars like Dr. Margaret Hunter, Derek Hamilton, Arthur Goldstein, William Darity, and multiple other scholars that have proved this. This is irrefutable. And I would challenge anyone, if you want to refute it, go do your own study. Present your work. College-age light-skinned women were more likely to be in a relationship than dark-skinned college-age women. 23% of dark-skinned women reported that they were in a relationship. 41% of medium Black women reported that they were in a relationship, versus 45% of light-skinned women. So we can see 23% versus 45%. You can find this study, Clark Atlanta University. The person's name is Taylor Matthews, the scholar, should I say, that presented this work and these findings. Dark skin was the most common selection for the statement, people think blank skin is the most unattractive. 77% said dark skin. This is, again, Taylor Matthews, Clark Atlanta. 64% of participants said that it's the hardest for dark-skinned women when looking for a spouse. 64%. Again, Taylor Matthews study at Clark Atlanta University. It's actually a dissertation where this person did extensive research, a very good job on it. And even my own study, I am on the Dark Skin Activist Tour, and that consists of me presenting a one-woman play called The Dark Skinned Woman's Revenge. After I complete the performance, I always do an audience talk back. When I was in Tucson, Arizona, after the show, we did a talk back. A group of Black women decided to take me out to dinner to a Mexican restaurant. We had a great time. And they told me, Rashida, the Black women don't want us, or the Black men don't want us. This is what they told me out of their mouth. I never seen these women a day in my life. They just came to my performance, and it spurred a discussion. And this is what they told me. So, you know, we have empirical evidence. We also have, you know, personal experience coming from people. So the evidence proves there is a need, and there's even more evidence. I know we don't have, you know, a whole bunch of time here, but the evidence clearly shows that there is a need for Rashida Strover, the dark-skinned activist. I'm on tour, and this is just a brief history of the Dark-Skinned Activist Tour and A Dark-Skinned Woman's Revenge. And I just put my contact information up here. Again, these are the books that I've written that deals specifically with darkism and its impact on people around. So I'm gonna stop the screen share. And you guys could probably see me now, I'm sure.
All right, now, you know, that was a beautiful, powerful presentation. You didn't just talk about it, you showed and proved. And brothers that's in the chat room, you know doggone well this sister is right. You remember a couple of years ago or a year ago, I interviewed this sister right outside on 125th Street, and she broke down crying. I think she's a little darker than Sister Rashida. And she broke down and cried. She's 23 years old and said, because I brought it out of her. We was talking about that. And she said, yeah, her mother and all her family treated her bad because she was the darkest one in the family. Y'all know she right, what she talking about. Now, let me ask you this, Sister Rashida. Do you have a hard time trying to convince or trying to teach our light-skinned brothers and sisters? Are they in denial?
I find that light-skinned and dark-skinned people alike are in denial because, believe it or not, I do get a lot of opposition from dark-skinned people. Make no mistake about that. Because there are some light-skinned people. There's a sister that started a group called Dark Skinned Women United. She's a light-skinned sister that me and her have been conversing for probably about 3-4 years now. And she was one of my first and biggest supporters. So, I find that it's equal across the board. It's equal between, to me, I feel that light-skinned people and dark-skinned people, they're both in denial. They're both in denial. And dark-skinned people, a lot of times their denial comes from not wanting to be seen as jealous or hating, especially for the women, on a light-skinned person. And then sometimes light-skinned people may not be aware of the privileges that they receive, for being lighter. They may not be there. Some of them really are not aware. And you have to literally try to just really work and point these things out and say, this is, what's going on in this situation. This person is being treated this way because of this, so it's an equal amount of denial. Definitely.
Oh, right. Okay. Have you ever been to Africa? And if not, are you planning on going?
I have not. Shame on me. And I feel bad about it. I have a friend who's been there like 6 times. And he keeps telling me, oh, you got to get your passport. I do plan on going to Africa. I actually have a lot of fans over in Africa. A lot of people that have read my book, my free book, How to Be the Hottest Dark Skinned Chick on the Planet in Africa. And I've been contacted by African women, dark-skinned African women who have told me similar stories of, what they go through for being dark-skinned in schools and how the boys don't want them, they don't talk to them. I mean, it's similar situations in Africa as well. So I do plan on going to Africa. Like that would be like the absolute ultimate because, that's the motherland, of course. Absolutely. I have plans of going to Africa.
All right. Powerful. Now, how does it feel to know that our African continental brothers and sisters are bleaching their skin? How do you feel about that? Not only them, but our brothers and sisters on the island. Not all Jamaicans, but some of our Jamaican sisters too, as well. They are bleaching their skin. What does that say to you, sister? That
is an indicator, again, of the need for a dark-skinned activist. That is an indicator of a global system of darkism that perpetuates low self-esteem. And again, it's economics. They know if they can promote this fairness, that's what the Indians call it, fairness. That's what they'll say. If they know that they can promote fairness and get women to buy into it, because it's primarily women, then they know that they can continue to make billions of dollars because it's a $1 billion industry. There's videos on YouTube, I've seen them, where you have Black women from, like you said, the Caribbean, Black women from Africa that are demonstrating and encouraging other Black women to lighten their skin. Because I have a friend from Ghana, and I said, why are these, give me a straightforward, real honest answer on why there's so much skin bleaching in Africa. And he told me, this person is from Ghana, lived there all his life, most of his life. He told me it's for them to find a husband. He told me that they feel like if they're light skinned, they're going to have a better chance at getting a husband, and not only a husband, but a high status husband. And the women in African culture, women do not want to grow old and be alone. That's not what they do. So it's very important for them to find a husband. And a lot of them feel, because the skin lightening industry is like huge over there, and it's the foreign countries that are exporting. You got Asian countries, countries in Europe that are exporting these skin lightening creams and making a killing off of the low self-esteem of these women. There's a sister over in Trinidad and Tobago. She's doing a documentary. She's still working on it, and she contacted me, and she and I, it's on my YouTube channel. Renee, shout out to you if you've ever watched this. We did a long discussion on, skin bleaching and, dark skin discrimination and the same thing. And this sister happened to be dark skin, but she's the good dark skin. The good dark skin is when you got some Indian mixed in your back. And then she said, the only thing that saved her was her hair. And she, she kind of got that good dark skin, like the Emma Lou character in The Blacker the Berry. She had, one of the things she said in the book was her hair was kind of like her saving grace because it was wavy and kind of curly. So there's levels to this thing, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, she said that the epidemic over there is just horrendous, and she's making a documentary on it. And we got together and we teamed up, and this was probably about 2 years ago now. So I'm disgusted by it because to me, I love when I get dark. I love my dark skin. I literally to be honest,
I do too.
Dark skin.
I do too. I just want to let you know I do too.
Well, thank you. I can understand why other people don't like it. I was just like baffled by that. What? Because I know y'all looking at me and y'all might be like, oh, no, if you ever see me in person, I am dark. Trust me, this is the lighting. I'm a dark. Anybody that knows me, they know I'm dark skinned. But I love dark skin. And another thing too, these women are lightening their skin, and the skin bleaching creams are hazardous to their health. There's health ramifications that come along with it, and they don't care. They will do anything.
Well, you know why? You know why I like the dark skin?
Why is that?
Because I know the juice is sweet inside. The juice is sweet.
I got
That's real talk. Okay, now let me ask you this. There's groups out here today, 2017, that refuse to call themselves black. They don't even want to see dark skin black. I'm gonna put them both together. To me, it's the same to me. It's dark skin and black. We prefer to say black, but there are groups out here today that refuse to call themselves black because they give you excuses like, well, when you read in a dictionary, black is negative, black is an adjective. The white man. See, such a stigma has become attached to black that we want to be anything but black. We want to be Indian. You say, oh, I got Indian in me. As long as you got Indian in you, we could accept you now. You see? So there's groups out there that don't even want to call themselves black. I think you maybe have to include them.
Right.
How do you feel about our ancestor brother now, Michael Jackson, and our sister that's still here on the planet, Lil' Kim? They looking like monsters right now. Lil' Kim. Do you feel sorry for Lil' Kim? Because we know that she don't know.
I especially feel sorry for Lil' Kim because Lil' Kim she can literally be a case study in regards to the colorism scholarly literature. She is a case study in self-hate. And now, let me say this now. I like Lil' Kim. I'm from the 90s. I was a teenager in the 90s. I like Lil' Kim. I like her. I do. I think she's talented in terms of her art form. The evolution of her skin tone in terms of going from being darker to lighter is nothing more than darkism. That's what it is. It's self-hate. I don't know if she'll ever admit to it. I don't know. I don't know what she's thinking. I don't know what's in her head, but I do know she is a product of the society that perpetuates that lighter is better. And apparently she bought into it. And I feel so sorry for her because, a lot of people talk about her. They drag her on social media for saying, how her skin has changed. But we have to understand the mentality of the mindset of some of these black women and how the attacks on our natural beauty, our dark skin and our hair impacts us. When you see the men going after non-dark women and treating them better than you, and, you know, marrying them, they, you know, a lot of these men that get money or whatever, even it doesn't even matter, because some people try to turn this into a status thing, but that's a part of it. Even any type of man, if you see that man just saying, you know, I don't want no dark-skinned woman, you know, this one is better, you know, if you see that and you grow up with that, then again, for some people, they internalize it. It's dark-skinned mental abuse that she's undergone. She is a victim of it, and she just could not get over it. So she said, you know, she wasn't one of the people that said, okay, I'm gonna take my dark skin and I'm gonna embrace it, and I'm gonna flaunt it, and I'm gonna show it off, and I'm gonna be proud of it. She went the opposite, and that's what happens to some people. They're gonna be victims. They're gonna become casualties. They're gonna become victims. And again, that's the case for the dark skin activists, so that other little girls won't grow up and do that. You know, lighten their skin. You know, I'm pretty sure she grew up watching TV, watching media images. And when you see the media, when you look at the media, all you see is images of beautiful, non-dark, non-black women. That's what you mostly see, especially growing up. And like I said, it's something that was internalized, and it's something that she wanted to change. It was reinforced, I'm pretty sure, by the people around her. And she just gave in. She just gave in to the pressure, and that's what she felt she had to do to be successful. And it is absolutely sad, and I feel sorry for her. I'm not going to bash her. I hope one day she comes to her senses. I hope she comes to her senses. I really do. It's sad.
What is your religion, if any? Because you know religion has started the attack on black skin, light skin, such as the Arabs' religion, the Christian religion. You know, it all goes into this religious stuff. Remember, the curse of Ham story. You be cursed by your blackness. In the Bible, they tells you that. They stuck his hand in his bosom, and it came out, I think, white as snow. And he put it back in his bosom, and it came out other than. So, you know, color plays a major role in religion as well. So what is your religion, my sister, if you have any?
I'm still trying to figure out. I'm trying to get back to my African roots. That's the honest answer. I don't know. And here's the thing. My father was in the Nation of Islam for about 30 years. In fact, in St. Petersburg, he founded a whole bunch of mosques. Everybody knew him. Everybody respected him. The late Samuel X. And my mother was a Pentecostal Christian. So I would go back and forth between the two. But as I grew older and started to, you know, study history, I do understand that religion, they came out of Africa, and every religion is just the offshoot of the original in Africa. So I'm trying to get back to that. I'm still in the process of trying to figure that out. That's my answer.
Okay, beautiful. Is this just a women's movement that you're dealing with, or is it for the black family movement, or is this a black family movement?
It's a black family movement. It's a black family movement because the objective, again, is to bring the black man back to the black woman, and in particular, the dark-skinned black woman. It's also for the males as well. Now, that's something I got a lot of criticism about early on. People were upset with me because I didn't. They said, oh, you don't speak enough about what dark-skinned black males go through. And that's one of the reasons why I wrote this book, Darkism. And also, I always challenge these people to understand that a dark-skinned woman's revenge is not what you think it's about. See, people people are looking at surface. You gotta look at the substance. A dark-skinned woman's revenge is, once again, it's about reconciling between black men and black women. So it's a all-encompassing black movement to bring black people back together. And it's just, I don't have all the answers. This is just my contribution to the answer. It's my contribution to the answer, to the problem, rather. You know, so that's what dark skin activism is all about. It's about bringing us back together. It's so important to me. When I hear stories of, I met with I like to tell this story. I met with a fan who's been following me for a while. last week, and he told me, Rashida, after watching your videos, I went back to my wife, and his wife happened to be dark skinned. Yep. So when I hear stuff like that, that's all I need. I'm happy. I'm just as happy as I don't know what. Yay. Thank you. So, you know, because that's what it's all about. It's about us coming back together. Absolutely.
All right. Once again, family, as you can see, here's one of the books that Sister Rashida wrote. As you can see on the screen, A Dark-Skinned Woman's Revenge. You can go and check that out. Here's another one right here, Darkism. 25. I can't really see it because it's low. Can you read that for me? All right. Yes. 25 ways dark-skinned people are discriminated against. 25 ways dark-skinned people are discriminated against. Yeah, I need to go and check that book out right there. And also she have another one right here, How to Be the Hottest Dark-Skinned Chick on the Planet. Whoa, that's bad. Sister, can you give us a little something on that? Now, before you do that though, how does one get your books? Like, let's say if I'm all the way in Philly, I'm in Toronto, how do I get a hold of your material?
You can go to my website. It's the darkskinisbeautifulcampaign.com, and skin is spelled SKIN. So the darkskinisbeautifulcampaign.com, and you can go, you enter the website, there's up at the top, and then you go to shop and the books are right there, or you can send me an email. My email address is darkskinisbeautifulcampaign@gmail.com.
All right, we put your website in the chat. Family, please go and support this sister. She's out there. She's doing what she's supposed to do. There's so many sisters and young ladies that's growing up with low self-esteem, you know, and this sister is doing her part. Please do your part and go get them books. Please, family. Go ahead, sister. Finish off.
Yeah, so How to Be the Hottest Dark-Skinned Chick on the Planet is the book that I wrote back in 1998. I always tell people I was looking for a dark-skinned savior. I wanted somebody to talk about this phenomena that was going on so bad, and I couldn't find nobody. Oh my God, I could not find anyone. I was looking over there because I was looking at the magazine. In 97, I was in a store at the end of 97, and I saw Alek Wek on the cover, dark-skinned Alek Wek, 97.
You know what? I was getting ready to ask you this question. And being that you getting ready to go there, let me ask you real quick. You bring up Alek Wek, who's a dark young lady, right? Am I right or wrong?
You're
Alek
right.
Wek from Africa.
Yep.
Okay. Alek Wek. Her achievements as a model are notable. But in the end, she does what everybody else do. She goes out and get into a relationship with a European. What is your take on that now? Come on now. This is a beautiful dark-skinned black woman.
Right. I would like to see her with a black man. That's my take. It's very simple. There's nothing complex about what I'm saying. I would like to see her with a black man. That's my wish.
Right.
I can tell somebody what to do, but that's what I would visually like to see, because it all goes back to nation building and staying strong. We have to build the black family. We can't continue to have a situation where you have children that are not in, for example, a two-parent home. If we could possibly save it and keep it together, why not do it? If you have resources, some of us are fortunate enough to have enough financial resources that why not keep that within our community? So I would like to have seen her, and I have not followed her relationship, to be honest with you. I just saw that her on the cover of that magazine being dark-skinned in 97, and I was inspired. But I would like to have seen her with a black man. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, yeah.
Right. I know you do. That's what it is.
Yeah. I saw her on the cover of the magazine, bought the magazine, and she, that inspired me to go on and speak on dark skin, which inspired the dark skin activist movement, because she was being talked about and picked on by black people at the time. They said she was ugly. I showed the magazine to a couple of people. It was like, oh, she ugly. She ain't got no hair. All this negative stuff, And so, long story short, How to Be the Hottest Dark-Skinned Chick on the Planet is a book that I wish that was written for me back then. So I decided to write that for
All right, come on back in, sister. You got cut. Come on back in. All right, just be patient, family. She's going to be back in the building in a minute. Don't go crazy on us. Her phone, her joint cut right off on us. Oh, man, like once again, this is powerful right here. A lot of y'all brothers out there, sisters, know that this is real. We've been dealing with this for a long time. It's just that this sister has the courage and the heart to come out and speak about it. So,
okay,
she's not again. All right, here you go. She's back.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, sister, while you're here.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Oh, where you at? There you go. You in the building. Some people might say, well, you know, you sound like you're a prejudice or you hating on or you're a hater of the light-skinned people. Mm-hmm. Is that any real? Could that be real or far from the case?
It's a deflection. It's far from the case, and it's a deflection on their part. These people, I don't want to make them equate to the Holocaust deniers because, you know, sometimes I think about that, how people denied that the Holocaust happened and they were silent about it. I feel like some of these people, they're just trying to deflect. Instead of them dealing with the issue head on and saying, okay, let's examine this. Let's take a look at it. They would rather, it's easier for them to say, you don't like light-skinned people. It's easier that's the tactic that's been used against dark-skinned people. That's why dark-skinned people don't talk. That's why that doesn't work on me. They got to find something else. That doesn't work because I know that I do not dislike light-skinned people. My best friend, I told y'all I was homeless at one time. My best friend, she's light-skinned. Shout out to you, Shamina, if you're watching this. Her mom, very light-skinned. Shout out to Vita. She passed away. May she rest in peace. This super light-skinned woman was responsible for taking me off the streets and taking me in. And when I moved in with her, I wound up getting my GED and, getting back in school. And ultimately, I think it's because of her that I wound up earning a master's degree because she was there helping me and supporting me. A light-skinned Black woman. Okay, I was there with her up until the day she passed away. I was there when, her sons, they see me to this day. I started the Malcolm X free tutoring program while I was working with the Uhuru movement and would help those boys with, we have standardized tests down here in Florida where kids had to pass to move on to the next grade. I was right there helping them. Like, there's so many instances that I could point to, but at the end of the day, I don't really have to prove myself to anybody because I know what's in my heart. My work speaks for itself. So no, I don't dislike anybody for that matter. I love everybody. So what the issue is don't try to deflect off of the issue of darkism. Don't try to deflect off the fact that the dark-skinned people of the world are the most abused people socially, economically, and politically. That is a fact. You have to ask yourself, why are you trying to deflect from those facts? Instead of trying to indict you're trying to indict me and put me on trial and claim I hate non-dark skin. That's insane. It's not going to work on me. You got to come again.
Okay. I want to take a minute real quick to show some video footage. Give me like 5 minutes. All right, my sister Rashida, is that good?
That sounds good.
All right, let's take a look at this video clip right here. Exhibit A, to show and prove that the sister know exactly what she's talking about. 23-year-old sister. Let's go. Is she 23? I think. No, she might be 18. I think she's 18. All right, let's check it out. I'm sorry we got to go through this because I can't speed it up. So we got to go through this whole thing. One oh two. Y'all know Sonetta got the mixtape coming. It's coming, family.
We go 1 to the 2, now 102. Black news, bringing you the goddamn truth. Best salute to Black power. Now's the hour of the new age. Revolution taking the stage. Put the beast in his cage where he belongs. Waking up the masses from the spell of Babylon. We're masters of the universe, gods on the earth. Original man first, the one that gave birth to the civilized world, to the house of consciousness, to the black people who have lost their common sense, who have lost their heritage from the very perishing. Gotta use the knowledge to defeat the terrorists, bringing fear to the masses. We need a new tactic, destroy the enemy and delete this freaking bastard ex-master. We're your slaves now, they're gonna be running your ass back to the cave now.
Uh-oh, look at that bullhorn. That bullhorn is coming out this year, family.
Ex-master, we're your slaves now, they're gonna be running your ass back to the cave.
Peace and black power, family. Welcome to another Sonetta TV House of Consciousness production. Still standing here with his sister, Krista. Is that your name, sister?
My name is Krista.
Young, beautiful, dark-skinned, black woman. We love them dark and black. The question I have for you first, sister, is in growing up in the house, have you ever had classmates, family members make fun of you because of your skin complexion?
Yeah, I have.
Like, what are some of the things they used to say?
Well, they'll call me ugly, or they'll call me a roach. They'll say that I'll be pretty if I was lighter and stuff like that. Or they'll compare me to like my lighter complexion cousins and stuff like that. And they'll just make me feel like I wasn't really beautiful. So,
how did that affect you growing up? Did that hurt you to your heart?
yes, it really did. I've always struggled with my confidence, and like I still do. I try to believe that like I'm beautiful, and like people tell me, but like I feel like in a way they're like lying to me. So yeah,
We're not lying when we tell you you're beautiful. Have you ever thought about bleaching your skin or chopping your nose or making your complexion a little lighter?
I thought about making my complexion lighter when I was like probably around like 10 or 11ish.
Stand over here so the people can see. You can zoom up too, Jabari, if you know how to use the zoom. No, it's all right. You got to let it out because you are amongst real people that love our people. I wish I was dark as you. I don't know. Am I dark as her?
Not yet.
Not yet? All right. I wish I was dark as you. I wish my wife was dark as you. I wish my daughter was as dark as you. You see, so never let nobody tell you you're not beautiful because of the color of your skin. Come on over here and talk to her, brother. Bill,
First and foremost, I want to give you some love and let you know that you are gorgeous and beautiful. And over here we honor,
You see, she's crying.
We honor
because
our
she's
Nubian
starting to catch
sisters.
flashbacks on how she was growing up.
You know what I mean? We are of the mind state of the darker the berry, the sweeter the juice. We celebrate our melanin. We celebrate being kissed by the sun. You know what I mean? Some of us want to be kissed more, So we're just gonna, like we were speaking earlier, we know that you are the voice for many young sisters out there that unfortunately, they're in this Western society, and this Western society is sick. It's so sick because it is following these standards of Romans, and the Romans are setting the standards of beauty. So in your household or amongst your friends, did they never really harped on the beauty of blackness? They never showed you the beauty of blackness and spoke about the beauty of just the benefits of being dark?
like when I was younger, that wasn't really mentioned to me at all, like between like in school and around my family. Mm-hmm. But as I gotten older, I guess my family specifically, they became more educated in how beautiful black really is, and like my cousin and my sister and stuff like that, they always remind me that like my dark skin is beautiful, and that they wish that like they had a darker complexion as me, because they always say that, oh, it looks so smooth and stuff like that. So that makes me feel good.
As I understand, you hail from Trinidad, Trinity and Tobago. One of our sisters.
What stopped her from going all the way through?
Okay. All right. Yes. Before we get to that, I want to know what stopped you from going all the way through with the whole bleaching process.
When I saw the woman that bleached their skin, like I felt like it was kind of I thought it was sad, mm-hmm. and I felt like it didn't make them beautiful. Like I like seeing the pictures and everything, mm-hmm. It really didn't make them any more beautiful. So I just thought that it wasn't worth anything to do with that. Yeah.
as a young lady here in America, very much impressionable by social media, you know what I'm saying, and pop culture and things of that nature. How does it make you feel when you would see somebody that's already considered quote unquote light skinned, like a Beyonce or a Rihanna, and now they're like ghosts in advertisements? You know, as a young woman, subliminally, what type of message does that send? And do you also see the effects of that with your friends and your age group, your peer groups? Like, is this discussions that people have? Are they even mindful that these entertainers are getting lighter and lighter?
Yeah, I've noticed people like notice that they've gotten light over the years, and I felt like it was kind of pointless because they're already light, and I felt like it really shows that like when people become more famous and like to appeal to like the white society and everything, they had to appear like whiter. They had to contour their face to have a skinnier nose, and they had to put on like makeup to make their skin lighter and everything like that. And I just felt like that right there, it always made me uncomfortable seeing that. Like when I'm on Instagram, like today, like I'll always see pictures of people saying that mixed girls are more beautiful and stuff like that. And I just felt like it's like, I don't know, I feel like.
Why, when I ask you the question, or when I say you are beautiful, why did you cry? Why did the tears come down your face?
All right. When you said that I was beautiful, it really, oh my gosh, it really makes me emotional thinking about how I used to think about myself.
It's okay. It's okay to let it out. Yeah, there you go. And this is what our family members are making do. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, we have to.
Oh man, that right there, just to see that right there just make my eyes water right there. She only 16 years old. At that time, she was 16 years old. Think about the self-hate that was all in her. But when she come by and she feel good. Our job that day was to make sure we let her know that you are a beautiful young lady and we accept you for the way you look. Because that right there, it really touched me. Even when I look at it right now, it just brings make my eyes watery. If I let the people see me, they'd be like, damn, Saw crying? What you doing, Saw? What you doing crying? I'm just crying because I love my people. That's all. I just love my people, man. But yeah, sister, what do you think about that?
Everything is the dark skin mental abuse. It's like, that's what exactly, if you read the article, what this young lady spoke about, that's what dark skin mental abuse is. It starts in your family and then it moves into the outer society. And that's generally how it happens. And then, as I was saying earlier, when you become an adult, you still living in that bubble. So the thing is, like when she was crying because, like I was saying earlier, when black men will say, "Oh, it's always in the back of my mind," do they really think that? That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
That's
because when I told her she was beautiful, she started crying. Like, come on, why is you saying that to me? All my life they've been telling me how ugly I am.
It's like, exactly. It's almost like it's embarrassing for someone to say, because you done underwent hearing she talked about being called all the names. You done heard that for so long till when it's like someone else is telling you that you're beautiful, it's almost like, huh, what? And it's almost unbelievable. This is what, going back to the emotional impact of darkism. It's, as you can see clearly, this young lady is super emotional because she is recalling what she's undergone in terms of dark skin abuse and dark skin discrimination. And it's just jarring at her emotions. And I could clearly see that she's still trying to work through it. Like a lot of us are. We're still trying to come through it. That's clear. And it's really sad. What's really sad is that this has to happen generation after generation. The young lady is absolutely, I'm looking at her, smooth skin, beautiful hair. I mean, the epitome of beauty. It's just insane. This is completely, it's like,
what really helped us out that day, what really helped us get by that day was another young brother came walking by the name of Marcus. He was just as dark as her. They was the same age, and he stopped and came over there and was talking to her, letting her know how beautiful that right there was awesome. They was the same age and he was dark as hell.
Right.
In that same video.
That's the good part about it, because here's the thing. Here's what I really believe, and I just saw the reflection of that in the video that you showed. I've always said that it is the black man that could solve this problem with the women. Because if you have black men that are praising, and it's a reason why I can't join in any campaign to disparage black men, because we have to work together in partnership. It's y'all that could solve this. If y'all, just like y'all was doing in there, coming together, telling this sister, yeah, of course she's gonna have to work because she's still getting over the dark skin mental abuse. But eventually, if you keep, faith comes by hearing. So if you keep telling her this over and over, and it's reinforced over and over, that's gonna solve the problem. The black man holds the key to solving this whole problem of darkism in terms of dark-skinned women and their beauty. Y'all hold the key. I don't care what anybody says. I am convinced that the black man holds the key. So if you got a dark skin,
I agree with you on that. I agree with you on that right there. But check this out. Dr. Amos Wilson teaches us this, and I always quote this. He says, our women are who they are because we, the men, are who they are. See, if we was a little bit stronger and disciplined with our women, she would be a little better. Now, for example, let me say this, because I say this, and brothers, I'm not letting you off the hook. I could be wrong. It's just my opinion. Just like everybody else have an opinion. I feel the reason why our women went straight with the Madam C.J. Walker and all that stuff was because of the black man. Because who we were at that time. We were so busy looking at Susie, Lucy, Rickle, Ronald Wicklewood, Elizabeth, and all that, and we were looking at her as a standard of beauty. So our women and our sisters saw that. So they said, you know what? We got to compete with this white woman. I'm going to take this nap out my hair. I'm going to straighten my hair. Madam C.J. Walker comes with the straightening comb. Now, see, if that's not the case, then how come we didn't check her when she first did it? We didn't do that. We told her how beautiful it looked. Yes, sister, go ahead and do that. So she are who she is because we are who we are. That's what I mean by that. So, brothers, take a look in the mirror and don't start criticizing the sister now because she got a weave and because her hair is straight, because you, brother, told her that that was the standard of beauty. Maybe not you personally, but you know where I'm going with it at. That's what I'm talking about. What do you think about that, sister?
We on the same page. It's real simple for me. If the black man co-signs and sanctions a certain standard of beauty and do it in a positive way and accepts it, I believe that a lot of things would change. There would not be the case for a dark-skinned activist anymore, especially in regards to dark-skinned female beauty, because the black man holds the key to that. I mean, that's the thing. The men are picking and choosing who they want to eventually marry and be with. If you pick a dark-skinned woman and tell her she's beautiful, you know, the ultimate is to marry that woman. That's the ultimate. That's the ultimate. If you're doing that, and that's why I keep saying bringing back the black man, the black woman, particularly the dark-skinned black woman, in balanced numbers. That's always been the goal, because again, the black man holds the key to that. And anyone that disagrees with that, I challenge you to think about the construction of humanity. How did we even all get here? It took a black man and a black woman. That's how we got here. So anything that is opposite of that in regards to sanctioning our beauty as dark-skinned women, it's good for us to say, let me just be honest with you. It's nice for, I get a compliment from, women compliment each other all the time. Oh, I like your hair. I like your skin. Oh, your skin is pretty. But I'm gonna be honest with you. Them compliments that I love getting me some compliments from a black man. I'm gonna be brutally honest. I sure do. I love it. I just eat it up. I do. Yep. It's a whole
and I love giving them too.
It's a whole different ball game. With these black men is really admiring and appreciating. even if, like I said, I struggle myself sometimes with, do they really believe this? But it still feels good. I grew up seeing my father give black women compliments all the time. So that was something that was embedded in my head. So it's like the black man holds the key. The black man holds the key. Y'all really do. And that's what I hope to see us all come together and, really start to build with each other and really start to accept each other and love each other. That's the main goal.
All right. Now we at the hour. Before we get it off, I want to give an opportunity to the people to call in and ask you some questions. Is that all right, sis?
That's perfect.
Okay, let's get it in. We're going to call my brother first. And just be respectful. Don't make me cut your ass off. That's all. Be respectful to our sisters.
Peace, peace.
Peace and black power, my brother Dr. Reggie. What's happening with you, man?
Listening to this show, it's a very controversial show. I'm excited. But first off, lady, you are beautiful, right? So if you come on our show, Black News 102, House of Consciousness, Sonetta TV, you are going to get the award. So you can just chime in all the time, right? And hope that you join our family. So I have no problem with what you're saying. I understand many of the things that you are talking about. I'm just cautious about separating our family. Our family come in many shades, and the minute that I understand that the only time a dark-skinned woman really has a problem is with the white man and the white woman. They caused all the problems. Our history is that we were all brown, all dark, and until the rape began or the foreign marriages began. So then that's something else that we have to deal with, and then they use that to separate. They used to separate our family. So you're pretty and dark, but you may have a daughter or a son who's lighter. Are you going to love them less?
Absolutely not. I think, again, going back to what I said earlier, I've been accused of, dividing black people. But I think that's a deflection in terms of dealing with the issue of dark skin discrimination. It's not about dividing black people along the skin color spectrum. That's the last thing on my mind. When I started dark skin activism, with the goal of eliminating dark skin discrimination. That was the goal. It was not about disparaging other people. I have actually never done that. I don't have a history of speaking negatively about non-dark-skinned black people. I don't have a history of attacking them at all. It's all about dark skin equality and dark-skinned people being treated right. Because see, when your body is sick, let me give you this analogy. If your body is sick, you have your arms, your legs, whatever. If your hand is sick and the rest of your body is not sick, it's not about the rest of your body, but you got to work on your hand. That's how I see it. In terms of black people, in terms of discrimination and definitely towards dark skin people, we need to fix that. And that's what dark skin activism is all about.
Some of our greatest leaders, like Marcus Mosiah Garvey, Khalid Muhammad, and there's lots of sisters, Harriet Tubman. Some of our greatest leaders were black. It is just in the last 60, 70 years, really, that we've had this problem, with hip hop and with television. But I think the European is taking advantage. He created this, and he's taking the advantage of it. So it's hard on this show. Like you're preaching to the choir. We would love for all of our family to be your complexion. But so here, all you're gonna get is love, and you can read the comments. You're preaching to the choir. I just don't like the separation. I couldn't control. My father is way darker than you. A little lighter than Alek Wek. My mother was light. I couldn't control what complexion I am. I'm an African human being. Right. And yes, there are many times that I wanted to be much darker, but I have to, especially in the black movement, but I have to accept who I am.
All right, but real quick, my brother Reggie, I feel what you're saying, but we want to make sure that we don't make no mistake and send a message out there to our light-skinned brothers and sisters. We love you just the way you are. Don't think that, oh man, you gotta be black. No, we come in many different shades. We just talking about the dark-skinned brothers and sisters, the black brothers and sisters right now that is being discriminated against. So I want to make sure we clear that up. Don't forget, my son is light and my daughter is dark, and they twins. One came out light, one came out dark. My mother's light, red bone. So we love you, sister. We love you, brothers that's out there that's light skinned. So we don't want to make that mistake into thinking that we are going against you. That's never the case. I want to say clear that. Reggie, hold on, Reggie, we love you, Reggie. I love you, Reggie. I love you, brother.
You the number one. You my number one. How can I say partner in this, right? So, and I love you. But you have to remember, just a year and a half ago, they was discriminating against black men on our show. People were trying to say that light-skinned people couldn't lead. Now, I know we get amnesia, but I heard that, right? And I was like, it had nothing to do with complexion. It had something to do with who's the right leader at the right time, doing the right movement. And many of our people, but I understand, and I don't want to disturb what the sister is trying to get across, but the problem is, I don't want this thing like darkism and moreism, and we forget black. Black has all the complexions that we need for our liberation, right? What it has is that you identify with being black, right? And you identify with your people. But can you ask the sister, have you been to Africa yet?
Yeah, I asked her that already. She, go ahead, you can ask them, sister.
I haven't.
Okay, so hopefully when we get our money up and we'll be able to take a tour, maybe you can join us. When I went to Africa, I went to Ghana, and I went to a village of Agogo, and all the kids surrounded me, and they didn't call me. I said, I'm black like you. They said, no, you Bruni.
They call you a Bruno.
Yeah, Bruni. And I said, no, I'm black like you. And then they rubbed my skin and say, no, you're not black like us, you Bruni. And a tear came down my cheek because I was surrounded by more than 50 of these young kids in their village, and they're saying, no, we African, you Bruni. Now,
damn, that's deep, Reggie.
Yeah, and I was there with Dr. Clark and Dr. Jeffries, and they couldn't help me. And I had a cultural dysfunction right for a quick second, but I got myself together and I put more work into the black struggle, and that was in 1986. But I'm not here. I'm just saying, sister, we understand what you're going through. When my mother and father was dating in Virginia, and I stopped, the police pulled over my mother and father when they was dating in 1964. Police officer went to my father and said, what you doing in the car with this white woman? My father said, sir, she's not white. This is in 64. He could have been strong up on a tree. She said, no, she's not white. She's black American. So my family had to go through that, and thus, and I was born. But sister, we love you. And thanks for being a part of our show, Black News 102. And I'll stop and I'll listen. You can always cry, you can always talk to us, but you can laugh with us and you can love with us. You have
one thing, she ain't gonna cry, Reggie, because she know who she is, she love who she is, and hey, she's here to fix the problem.
If society makes her cry, she's got her home. I was just laughing because I'm reading the comments. But thanks. You know, they saying, Reggie, you know damn well you ain't black. You know. But I do black work. So sister, I'll listen to the rest of the callers. Thank you all both for your time.
All right, thank you. Family, y'all can call in. This is the time to call in. And sister, what do you got to say to that? Go ahead, you got the floor.
Again, I don't want us to lose sight of the objective here is dark skin equalization. Once again, when we look around the world, we see that the majority of people that suffer the most are the dark people of the world. And so it has absolutely nothing to do with hating anyone else. It's about equality and justice of dark-skinned people. So.
Right. Time to call in, family. Come on now. This is it. Y'all want us to end the show like this? We want to give you the opportunity to talk to the sister. Where you at, Sapphire? Come on. Where the family at? All right, once again, family, I want to show her books. Here you go right here. How to be the hottest dark-skinned chick on the planet. Make sure you support our sister so she can go to Africa. That's how we're going to do that.
Yeah.
All right. Darkism. There you go. That right there, that book sounds interesting right there. 25 ways dark-skinned people are discriminated against. Powerful. All right. The dark-skinned woman's revenge. Sister, did you touch on that earlier? Yeah, you did speak on that earlier. Can you give us some more information on that? The dark-skinned women revenge. That word revenge might scare a lot of people. It might scare some of our light-skinned sisters.
Hey, that's why you gotta either, let me tell you what you gotta do. You gotta either come to us, when I come to your city, you gotta come and see the play, or you gotta get the book. And you will see. I'm not going to even give it away. You got to see it. All I'm going to say is it's about reconciliation. I wrote A Dark-Skinned Woman's Revenge back in 2006. It's the sequel to a play that I wrote called A Dark-Skinned Girl's Triumph, the Rashida Strober story. That's actually on YouTube. I released that for free. It's an audio. I call it an audio movie because I'm a performer and an actor. So I've taken my experience about being dark-skinned and what I went through, and I intertwined it into art. So I wrote A Dark-Skinned Girl's Triumph. People wanted more, so I decided to write A Dark-Skinned Woman's Revenge in 2006. And since then, I have just pushing it and promoting it and pushing it and promoting it. And I started to notice that after I would do the show, everybody wanted to talk to me about their story, and it just spurred a conversation. And that's the reason why I do it, because I said, hey, this is something I could do to help the situation. I could do it through an entertaining way because people love it. I'm not trying to toot my own horn. Well, I guess I am. But the truth is, I get excellent reviews wherever I take this play because people like it. And, you know, so I'm encouraging people to read A Dark-Skinned Woman's Revenge. If I could keep up with my work, follow me on my social media, because I always let people know where I'm going to be at. My next stop is going to be at the Washington, D.C. Black Theater Festival in June. So shout out to the D.C. Black Theater Festival. I'm going to be presenting the work there. And, you know, A Dark-Skinned Woman's Revenge is just an excellent piece that I am going to revisit, because it's a one-woman show where I'm playing 5 different characters. In the beginning, people did not believe in it, and I tried to get other Black women to play these characters, and they said, oh, you are portraying us in a bad light. We don't want to talk about this, so I just had to do it on my own. So now people are starting to see what I'm saying is true and it's needed. Right. So I plan on revisiting it with casting other people to play the roles that I currently play. So, yeah.
All right, sister, I can't wait. You coming to Harlem soon. You coming to Harlem. What day is that again?
I'm still negotiating. It was supposed to be May 20th, but I like I said, when I get a signed contract and I solidify it, then I start releasing everything to my social media. So right now it's all temporary.
All right, I have a brother that's here. I call him the God. He want to speak to you. Peace, my brother. You on the air? What's your name and where you calling from?
Peace, this the God. I'm from upstate New York, Rochester.
Hold up.
Greetings.
Yes, go ahead, brother.
Peace, man. How you doing? So how you feel? I wanted to ask you a few questions about how you felt about black men being with other races of women in your family. Now you have people in your family that date outside your race. Do you still, feel some type of way about them? Is that a visual? Is that something that's shown when you out? Like, do you show your disdain for that?
Actually, I have 5 brothers.
Do you have disdain for that? Do you feel some type of way when you see a brother with a Spanish woman? I ain't talking about no white, no European people now. Because, granted, that's like dating an enemy. We going to rule out white folks on this joint. But I'm saying, like, when you find other peoples of African descendancy, like dark-skinned Latinos and Caribbeans and things of that nature, is that still like, or are you just saying like you specifically want to see black African Americans, descendants of the African slaves in America with each other? You get what I'm saying? You get the question I'm asking?
I think I understand, and you can correct me if I'm wrong in my response, but I would like to see black people, black men, people of African descent, visually fully black men, whether they be whatever color of the spectrum, but black men with black women, with women like that look like me. And particularly, I gotta take it back to the dark-skinned women. I have to do that. People keep saying why, because it's a problem. It's an issue. More black men need and should be with darker-skinned black women. It's an imbalance, and that's what I'm pushing. Imbalance. I want to make sure I'm clear on that.
I'm with you on that. I just was looking for some clarification on that issue because I didn't know if you were just saying like Africans that was in the diaspora in America should only be with other black Africans with the same descendancy. I didn't know you was keeping it broad spectrum as far as all dark-skinned women and men. So I'm correct in assuming that's what you're saying, right? You're speaking along the scale of all African descendancies, as long as, not as long, but specifically pertaining to the dark-skinned peoples.
Right. So I, as a black American woman, I dated a black man from Ghana. He was pitch black. My ex-husband, who I'm going through a divorce right now, I'm a black American woman. He's from Jamaica, pitch black. That's all black to me still. Visually black, phenotypically black. I don't want all this ambiguity. It's too much of that going on. It's like, why can't black men be with visually, phenotypically looking black women? That's what I would like to see more of.
Okay, well, how you feel about polygyny within dark-skinned folks?
I cannot hear him now. I cannot hear him.
Yeah, I said polygyny. Polygyny, a man having more than one wife.
I actually cannot hear him at all.
All right, say that again. My bad.
I said, how do you feel about polygyny? What is your thoughts on that? Amongst in the black community.
I personally am against it. I do not and will not ever share my man. I have to just be bluntly honest with you about that. I understand why polygamy exists. I understand that it is a cultural African norm. But as far as for me, I don't know. Now, if other people find that, okay, this works for me, and if, everyone is agreeing and everyone is benefiting, and because there's some situation where children are involved and it can be beneficial to everyone involved economically and socially, that kind of thing. If you agree that that's something that you would like to do, fine. But for me, that's not going to happen. I will not ever share the man that I'm with. oh no. I gotta be honest about it.
And that's exactly what I figured that you was gonna say, and that's my issue that I'm having with black women. I'm a black man, you know what I'm saying? This is my issue. I'm saying I know me, and I hate to say it this way, but I know my sex drive and I know my sexuality. I am not content with just one woman, and I'm not trying to be an asshole about the situation. It's just the truth, and that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? I see myself with more than one woman. Now, a lot of black women, they just can't get with that shit. You know what I'm saying? They just don't want nothing to do with that. And you know, it's hard for me to come in contact with some sisters that's at least open to that idea.
Right.
I mean, on the long term side of things, I'm talking like marriage and homes, you know, and higher economics. You know, through this thing that's as small as having more than one wife. You feel me? But a lot of black women, they so stuck on the Christian way of life that's something that they won't entertain, and it's hard for me to meet women, black women, like that, because to keep it G with you, I mess with a Puerto Rican shorty, and she's down for whatever the gods say. You know what I mean? But I don't feel comfortable with, you know, creating a home without a black woman being the head of it. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm a black man, so of course, you know, I want somebody in my home that look like my mom. You know?
Right.
So, I mean, I don't know if that was too much, but do you get where I'm coming from on that?
No, it's not too much. I mean, you're telling me about your preference, and we're definitely not in agreement on it. But if that's what you feel so passionate about, to have, you know, a polygamous situation, you know, there's millions of people. So I'm pretty sure if you really want to find someone, a black woman that is in agreement, or black women that's in agreement, they're there. But you know, and also in terms of the Christianity thing, that's not the reason why I personally would not participate in it. It's just, I'm being honest, I'm territorial. I'm not going to share a man. It's not going to happen. The man is going to be with me, number one, or we're not going to deal at all. So that's just the perspective.
Yeah, we got to move forward. I got more calls calling. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you. All right, peace. Peace and Black Power family. What's your name and where you calling from? Hold on. What's your name and where you calling from?
Yeah, this TJ from Philly.
Brother TJ, what's happening, my brother?
What's going on, son? I just want to say, man, the sister's absolutely right, man. I think some of the issues we got in our community, you know, like we bang on the white man and we bang on a lot of issues, but when it comes to us dealing with things, topics like, you know, internally within our community, man, we shy away from a lot of stuff. Like when we got to turn around and point the finger back at ourselves. Like this, man, it's real, man. How many times, like I'm light skinned. When I was young, like I used to really date. I was always attracted to like dark skinned girls, you know, growing up. But like dark skinned people was always called African booty scratcher. You know, they was the nappy hair. I mean, you know, it was always terms. Or you hear guys say, "Man, you pretty for a dark skinned girl." And I'm reading the comments, and some people was calling her crazy and saying that it wasn't like she's. Like what she's saying ain't true. It's really true. And all that stuff, like Reggie said, we got from the white man. Like all the names and stuff that they called us, the same way we call ourselves nigga, we begin to put that on each other with the light skin and dark skin. That's was in our community strong. And if anybody's denying that, they lying. You lying to yourself. That existed. I mean, the dark-skinned girl, she could be the dark-skinned girl with the fat ass, but if she with that light-skinned girl, most of the time the light-skinned girl got chose first. It was always like that. I mean, and I'm just man enough to admit it. A lot of people won't admit the stuff that we do to each other. Like we don't want to talk about those things. I mean, and it's the truth. And I'm glad that you got her on the show to really talk about these issues, because this is just one issue amongst many of why we can't come together and why we got so much self-hate on each other and division. But a lot of that stuff comes from the white man. I mean, you know, and we just do it to each other now. I mean, that's all I called in to say, man. But we gotta start being honest, man. You know, with each other, man.
All right, thank you, my brother. I appreciate that. All right. I always say that the white man is responsible for our condition, but we are responsible for getting out of the condition that he put us in. See, we got to do that, because see, now we know that the white man had put us in slavery for over 400 to 500 years. We know he raped us. We know he's lynched us. We know all of this. So now it is our responsibility to get up out of it. He's not going to do it. Nobody else is going to help us do it. You see? So with that, let me say peace and Black Power family. What's your name and where you calling from?
Hello.
Yes, what's up?
My name is Zaki from Nigeria.
Can you turn down the volume in the back so we can hear you, Nigeria?
Yes, sir.
What's up, man?
Hello,
Talk
sir.
to me, brother.
I am very happy to be on the show. I think this is a very powerful topic and subject that you are talking about. And the beautiful sister will be loved in Nigeria, West Africa, because we love dark-skinned women and we appreciate.
Okay, now here's the thing. Here's the thing, my brother. Of course, our African brothers love our women over here, but you get upset when we look at your women, man. What's up with that, man? Talk to me, man. Y'all get mad when the brothers from the diaspora look at the African women. Y'all don't like that. You look mean at us for that. And then you tell, what you doing? You messing with that Bruni. You messing with him. See, but y'all can come over here and you look at our women. You know, we love you, brother. We love you, man. But what's up with that, man?
I understand it's not all of us.
One thing we know, the whole human family wants the black woman from America. They all love our women. But the minute we look at their women, they go crazy. And that's including our African brothers from the continent, man. So what's up with that, brother?
Yeah, I understand that. I understand where you're coming from. Actually, not all of us are like that. In fact, Professor Cornel West actually is married to a woman from Nigeria. She's from my tribe, Yoruba, so we don't hate. In fact, me personally, I like it when our African American men marry the African women. So I want more of that.
Beautiful, brother. We love you, man. We love you. Do you have a question for the sister?
And number two, if an African American, whether man or woman, comes to Nigeria, they have automatic citizenship. So you guys are welcome in Africa anytime. You just get automatic citizenship. In fact, you will get better treatment over there in Africa than the Africans born in Africa, because we look at you guys as more enlightened, have more education and more development. So
right.
We don't have any hate for you guys here in Africa.
Oh, we appreciate that, brother. But do you have a question for the sister before you get off?
Yeah, just one question. You said you dated a guy from Ghana. How was the relationship with that guy from Ghana?
I actually also dated a guy from Nigeria as well. Anya, last name Anya. It was awesome. I mean, I always say that had it not been for, I'm be honest to y'all, y'all might not be able to take it, but I always said that if it wasn't for black men from the Caribbean or from Africa, that I would have never gotten married, because the black men from the Caribbean and from Africa, they always thought that I was either from Africa or from the Caribbean. So they always took a liking to me based on how I looked, because they thought I was from there. Whereas these same physical attributes that I have was not seen as beautiful by my own men. Now I'm starting to see that change, but this is the facts of my own life. So, you know, I always will have love for my African brothers and sisters. Always. That's how I feel about it. From all over the world. I love them. I love us all. I want us to come together. I have a wonderful friend, him and his wife, they're from Nigeria. They told me the same thing that this brother just said. If I go to Nigeria, I have a home over there, and I don't want to be treated better. That's another thing I want to say. I don't view myself as better than you at all. That's not, I think you are my brothers and my sisters, and I want equality, for real. I'm not out to say I'm better than, no, that's not how I see it. I want equality for everybody. The only people, I tell anybody that know me, only people that don't get a pass, if you're a child molester, I'm done. I'm finished. If you hurt an old person, we finished. We ain't even gonna talk. You out the loop. Everybody else, equality, I love you, and that's just how I feel about it. So it's all about equality. I don't want to be treated differently at all. I wouldn't.
All right. Thank you, my brother, for calling in, brother Nigerian man. We appreciate you. We respect you, brother.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right.
Bye.
All right, there you have it. Now, sister, you said something that was powerful. You going in now. You talking about hold up. You talking about now on some other stuff. Child molesting.
Oh no, we can't.
What do you think about when you first heard the news of Africa Bambaataa? I know you heard that.
Take Africa out your name.
Huh?
Take the Africa out of your name. Take Africa out of your name. Take Africa out the name. Anybody think about this. From me, I'm speaking for me. Anybody that messes with a child, because I work with kids and I work with old people. The children and the old people got a place in my heart. The children are innocent. They don't know what's going on. They're still developing. Why would you inflict pain or harm or emotional distress to mess up an innocent child? Anyone that does that is a monster. You're not even... I'm done. I don't see you. You should just be. I can't really say what I want to say on here, but I know how I feel about it. You messing with old people, abusing old people, taking a month. Some people do crazy stuff like this. You're not even worthy. You know, you just. I mean, I don't see you as human. That's animalistic behavior. You know, somebody said a society is judged based on how they treat their young and they're old. And I 100% believe that to be true. It's true. You have to treat the children with a certain level of decency and respect, and they have to be protected. They have to be protected. I personally do not play about my children. And anybody that leaves their children in my care, trust and believe they're going to be well taken care of, because children are very, very important to me, their well-being. And I myself grew up without that type of emotional well-being, without that protection. And I can't see that happening to any child that's in my sphere, especially my own children. I got a little girl, and that's everything to me, and my son, everything to me. So, you know, child molesters, they don't have no part in my world. They just, I can't say what I really want to say on here, but we gonna just leave that.
Let me say this, man. People tend to always want to get so personal with stuff. They in the chat room asking me to ask you, and I don't want you to even answer the question. I just want to say it. Why did she get a divorce? That's personal. That's between her. If she decide to come and tell us that, she can do that. But I'm not going to ask her that, and I don't even want you to answer that question, sister. I'm just trying to talk to the people that's in the damn chat room. And you notice the one that asked the question is hiding like a motherfucker. Your avatar is not up there. You're hiding your face. So come on, man.
I might be on here. Damn. That's a whole nother story.
Always asking the personal question. That's between her and you know, her mate, the one that she's getting a divorce with.
Maybe we'll address.
Anyway, sister, without any further ado, right? It's about that time for me to shut it down, and we can do a part 2 whenever you're ready. Just let me know, sister.
Shout out to Renee.
Right now, do you have any closing remarks for our people out there?
Yes, I do. Real quick, I wanted to say shout out to Renee. I just saw she's watching the show. She's interviewed me several times. That's another very powerful sister. Thank you. I just want to say.
That? Who you said?
Her name is Renee. Renee Black.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Shout out to Renee. Thank you. I also want to say shout out to every person that supports the work that I do. I appreciate you. I also just got to say this as well. Shout out to the chairman, Omali, I should tell her, because I spent a long time as a part of the Uhuru movement studying under him. And that man has been on the ground for years back in the 60s, working hard for Black empowerment, and really gave a fantastic example of what this thing is all about and how to really work for your community. So I have to say that. And I'm just, thank you to Sonetta. Thank you to the brother that We the Gods, because you responded and you believed in what I was doing. You believed that I needed to be heard. Y'all believed that this needed to be heard. And I want to say thank you very much for allowing me to come on this platform, because this issue of darkism is global. And I just want to challenge people to look at Africa. Look at how the people on that continent, our people, are in poverty, how that's one of the wealthiest places. Why is it? Think about this. For anybody that is disagreeing with what I'm saying, just think about our African brothers and sisters. Look at that. Look at how they look. They're dark skinned. When I was in graduate school and undergraduate school, I tried for a long time to get some of the professors to address it, and they wouldn't, which is another reason why I decided to start dark skin activism. Because I said, you can't sit around and wait for people to address stuff. You could be the change that you want to see. Think about these people and what they're going through. Think about that. The people over in Haiti, our dark-skinned brothers and sisters over there, how they get turned around by the government. In comparison, to me, that's about darkism. We can deny it all day, but look at the skin complexions of the people that are allowed to come in from Cuba versus the ones coming in from Haiti. Look at how the dark people are treated around the world. I would even say, even over in India, even over in Asian countries. Look at how, but Africa, going back to Africa, where you see the blackest people on the planet treated like nothing, in poverty. That's what I'm trying to reverse. That's my problem. That's my problem.
Before you go, I got another powerful sister in the building that's also doing the work. She's just relentless. I love and respect this sister. She worked from sun up to sundown, bringing this knowledge to our people. She goes to work, come back, getting this information, try to get online, and she goes by the name of Sister Renee. What's going on, Sister Renee?
Hey, Sarnetta, what's up? Peace, Rashida.
Hey, how you doing?
She said hi. You can't hear her, but she said hi.
Okay, yeah, I just wanted to call in. How are you, Sarnetta?
Oh, I'm good, sister. I'm good. I've been keeping it tuned.
That's what's up. I just want to call in and give some support to Sister Rashida. I think she is so on point. I think a lot of people purposely, confuse what she's saying. I think people do that because the topic and issue of colorism is so real in our community that it's just like it's another thing I think black folks just don't want to deal with. So a lot of people will pretend like they don't really understand what it is that she's saying, or they'll try to pretend like, oh, she hates light-skinned people, or she hates light-skinned women, and all of this kind of crazy stuff. No, the sister is just saying for equality, like she said, equality among our complexions, having this caste system. We know this stuff comes from where we know who it comes from. And so in terms of us reclaiming our community and seeking liberation, there has to be something at the top of the list as well that we need to deal with. Because at the end of the day, we know we went through some treacherous things, our ancestors, but we're here, and we need to embrace our dark skin, from the darkest ebony to the lightest light complexion, fair skin black person. We need to embrace that. We're a variety of shades, and I just want to send some love, and this is not a put down to any light-skinned black person. So please stop that mess. And I just want to throw this out there real quick. Our elders, Millie Fuller and Dr. Wellsing, told us that we need to destroy the system of racism, white supremacy, and replace it with a system of true justice, where whoever needs the most help gets the most help. And within our community, we know that the dark-skinned black woman especially is oftentimes overlooked or disrespected or insulted. And so for our dark-skinned sisters, that means they need the most help in certain situations. So everybody doesn't need to make it about them, but we need to make it about restoring who we really are, so that we love ourselves no matter what the complexion is. A lot of black people say they love being black, but they still want to keep it in a certain color range. They don't want to be too, quote, too black. So anyway, I just want to say that. I'll wrap it up. But thank you, Sarnetta, and much love to you, Sarnetta. Much love to you, Rashida.
All right. Thank you, my sister Renee. Love always. And I want you to know that Sister Ranita have a home here. Whenever she ready to get it in, all she got to do is hit me up, call me, Brother Sarnetta. I got a powerful topic. We need to get this out. And we can get it in. So.
Thank you.
All right, sir.
All right. Peace, sister. All right, you too. Now you can listen to it and you can hear her response. Go ahead, Rashida. You got the last call.
Yeah, I wanted to say shout out to Sister Renee Black because she was one of my first supporters. I've been interviewed on her show, I believe, twice. I love that sister, and you're right. She's on the ground fighting, and I just got a lot of love and respect for her. And thank you very much for all of your support over the years. I appreciate you, and I love you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
All right. Oh, man. As soon as I was getting ready to end the program, I got another sister that called in.
All right.
I love it when the sisters call in. When you teach a woman, you teach a nation. When you teach a brother, you just teach an individual. So we have another sister who is out there working tirelessly with 2 jobs. She come home and got to run home and set up something and just family. Without any further ado, this sister right here don't really need an introduction because her work speaks for itself. She goes by the name of Sister Sapphire. What's up, Sapphire?
Peace, peace, peace to the beautiful sister. I just want to say, you are beautiful no matter what they say. Words can't bring you down. Oh, no, no. You are beautiful in every single way. Words can't bring you down. So you light up our world. You are our world. And I just want to tell you, sister, just to keep your head up. And to all the dark-skinned women that are listening, little girls and teenagers, please replay this show just to uplift your spirits.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. Now, one more thing, Sister Sapphire. How come you ain't try out for the Apollo? Because you killing it.
Oh, my God.
You killing it. They said you sound like Beyonce right now.
I can't say that.
All right, Sister Sapphire. Go and listen to her response on the thing because you can't hear her right now.
Okay.
All right. Okay. All right, sister. Again, we closing out with you. Go ahead.
Okay, I thank you very much to that sister that just called in, Sister Sapphire.
Sister Sapphire. There you go.
That's right. I love y'all. I just want y'all to know how much I love y'all. No matter how many people try to turn it into anything else, I want you all to know I love my people. I'll say it 1 billion times. That's how I want to close it out. I want to let y'all know I love y'all. I love y'all, and I thank y'all, and I appreciate y'all for just even taking the time to listen, because it took me a long time of years of hard work to get people to just listen to what I have to say, and I appreciate it, and I love y'all. Thank you.
All right. Peace and Black Power. Thank you, my sister, for coming in. Once again, I'm going to throw her books up, and I want you to let the people know how they can get a hold of your book, my sister. Once again.
Absolutely. All you got to do is visit the darkskinisbeautifulcampaign.com, and dark skin is spelled DARSKIN. So the darkskinisbeautifulcampaign.com. You can visit the website. All the information is right there. I'm on the Dark Skin Activist Tour. I'm coming to a city near you. Meanwhile, just visit my website, and I hope to meet people in person. Love meeting people and chatting it up with people in person and really getting this conversation going. So the darkskinisbeautifulcampaign.com.
All right. Peace and Black Power. Thank you, Queen.
You're welcome. Thank you.
To Star City, Virginia, ATL, Georgia, Frederick, Maryland, and New York,
and Princess Lanita,
and Sarnetta TV. Sarnetta.
Shout out to Sarnetta TV.
Shout out to Sarnetta TV.
Sarnetta TV.
Peace to the fam, 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 peace to police, they wanna start a race war. My people gotta stay strong. Come together and we face storms. We can hold our dollar. We collapse they dollar. Incite our power. Take back our land. Hold back our dollars. Black power we stand. All of you depend on the next move. 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 Peace to the fam. 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 Peace to the fam.